The J&L passenger side oil separator that we have here today is going to be a great way for 2011 and newer EcoBoost or 5-liter owners looking to keep those intakes and valves a little bit cleaner over the long run. Now the J&L will pack an American-made build consisting of a 3-ounce billet aluminum container in silver, along with all of your factory-style lines and fittings for right around that high $100 price point. Install is going to be a complete piece of cake here, guys, so figure a soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and at least 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more to complete from start to finish. But either way, hang with me for a bit and we'll show you how it's done later in the video. So in short, your truck has what is called a PCV system, or positive crankcase ventilation. Now, the purpose of this system is to regulate and remove the fumes and oily vapors caused during combustion from the engine crankcase and to alleviate crankcase pressure, which could otherwise cause oil leaks or seal damage. Now, because laws mandate the PCV system be sealed, the engine does have to use vacuum to draw these vapors out of the crankcase and then plumb them back into the intake tract where they are to be burned off during the next combustion cycle, and so on. Now, while this all sounds good in theory, a lot of times these oily vapors end up kind of coating or leaving a residue in the intake manifold and on the back side of your intake valves, which can lead to what is called valve coking, especially in the absence of a port injector. And that is the case with the early EcoBoost trucks. Now, I know this is all a bit confusing, so if you'd like a complete breakdown as to why installing an oil separator is a great idea, along with how exactly they work, check out our What's Up With That All Things Oil Separator video back at our American Trucks Forward YouTube channel. We give a nice detailed breakdown along with some experiments to just show you how these things work. But let's get back into the J&L here, guys. And again, using a combination of what is a stainless steel mesh and aluminum honeycomb up top, it's basically going to allow those oily vapors produced during combustion to pass through the separator, where it's going to isolate all that junk and then collect it or catch it down in the canister here below. Now, this is still going to allow that fresh, clean air to pass through the PCV system uninterrupted, so you're not really gonna mess with anything in that regard and shouldn't be throwing any check engine lights or anything like that. Now, J&L does claim that you should empty this junk every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, but it's been my experience, especially with my EcoBoost Raptor, that this guy tends to fill up pretty quick depending on your condition. So probably not a bad idea to check the canister a little bit more often. Just make sure it's empty at all times and make sure you're emptying it responsibly. Now, as far as your construction is concerned, well, again, guys, you're looking at a very simple design from J&L, which, by the way, is formerly JLT, one of the most trusted names in the catch can or oil separator game. They changed things up. They're called J&L now, but it's the same quality and construction that you guys know from their previous products. Now, again, billet aluminum material for the canister itself. In this case, they finish it off in an anodized satin finish, which is gonna give you that kind of matte silver look. But just a quick heads up here, guys, J&L does also offer this in a black finish as well, a little bit more stealthy under the hood. Now, the truck-specific kit does also include your factory-style hoses and fittings, which is gonna make for a very simple install. And again, the entire kit has been made right here in the USA. But let's switching gears, let's get into the install. And again, because you're getting the factory style lines and fittings, expect a very simple plug and play job. 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Site calls this one about 10 minutes to get in place from start to finish. And yes, that's probably true, but don't beat yourself up if it takes you a little bit longer to mount the bracket and then get everything plugged in. But now we do want to give you a better idea of just how this job will go down on your EcoBoost or 5-liter truck at home. So without further ado, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 10mm wrench, and a 10mm socket. In addition to the previous tools, you'll also need a drill and a 1/4-inch drill bit. If you would like to drill a second hole, it is recommended by the manufacturer, but not required, but we'll get into that more in the install. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing an oil separator on our F-150, so let's get right to it. So to install our oil separator, we're going to have to disconnect our PCV line and then also disconnect this harness from the clip into the battery tray. So to disconnect our harness on the battery tray, I'm just going to get in there with a clip remover tool. Just pop that right out of place. So to disconnect our PCV line, on the other side of this blue tab, there's going to be a smaller tab that we can push up on and disconnect our line. It comes off just like that. So now we can go ahead and install our bracket for our oil separator. Now the manufacturer does recommend that you drill out the second hole. The first one's gonna go in the hole from the harness that we disconnected. It's not a required step from the manufacturer, but they do recommend it. With that being said, we will not be drilling that second hole just for demonstration purposes, but you would drill a second hole right into your battery tray where the first one is. So now we can install our bracket. So we can line up our first hole and then run it straight along the battery tray. And where our second hole meets up, we can mark with a Sharpie or a grease marker, and then we can drill our hole through there so we can use our second set of hardware. So now with our bracket bolted down, we can go ahead and mount our oil separator to it. Now we're gonna go ahead and make sure that both of the labels are facing the same way. And then we can take our Phillips head screws and screw this down. And now we can go ahead and connect our lines, slide over the top, and then just push it in, and you'll hear that click. And then the same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the J&L 3.0 oil separator in satin/clear anodized for your passenger side of the 2011 to current 2.7 liter, 3.5 liter EcoBoost, and 5.0 liter F-150. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.